Good morning, peeps. Coming to you live from this really cool foresty area near where I live in Florida. It's very noisy this morning. Beautiful daybreak. Sun isn't even up yet. And just really doing what I do in the morning, just grounding into the day. Got up, got on my bike, rode over here. It's probably like a 10-minute ride. And what I wanted to really just talk about today is just presence. I think it's the foundation of, for lack of better words, all of my teachings, all of the things I share with my clients, all of the things that I communicate with the men's group, all the things that I share at the retreats and in my books that I'm writing, everything. It's all starting with presence. It's all starting with, can I actually just be here and nowhere else? Can I just be here and nowhere else? Or even better, is this the best place I can be? And then eventually, this is the best place I can be, right? So it starts with questions as the mind unwinds and starts to convince itself that this is good. And then what you're left with is this humanness, this ancient creature that you see in front of you. I'm not 31 years old. I'm 100,000 years old. I'm the summation of all my ancestors, alive, breathing, living, beating, and that's an important thing for me to take into mind every day. I think it helps me to better understand myself, better understand people, not judge, see between the lines. And I feel like so much of people's presence is eroded by their inability to be conscious of their programming, but also their DNA, also their ancestral lineage. Like, of course, there's going to be a natural desire to compete with other people, considering for the majority of the history of humanity, that's been a necessary thing in order to survive. But in this new world where everyone can help each other, new world is the technological world, where there's just so much collaboration that can happen, that we can all help each other. It's just not as necessary anymore. So I try and have these things in mind as I sit here and just kind of take it all in. I mean, and I think when I'm practicing presence, what I'm practicing quieting the mind and just opening up the senses and just channeling and feeling the intuition that's in front of me. Intuition just meaning the deeper inner voice, guys. That's all intuition is. I think it gets spiritualized. It's just intuition. It's just that inner voice, that inner compass, that like gut feeling that like, no, it's this way, or this is for me, I know it, or this not me, I don't want that, nope. And I feel like the mind is an incredible tool to help to take the intuition where it wants to go. It's an incredible vehicle, but ultimately the intuition is that GPS. And I think that I've learned that if I can become more present person, and I can be really here, and especially in the mornings, really start my days intentionally just being present with myself, I always have a lot more fun. I always have a lot more joy in my life. I always have space to work through the issues and the things that are upsetting me, that are on my mind, that I can feel in my body, the tension that I carry sometimes. And that makes me so much more productive during the day. It makes me so much more connecting to people, and ultimately it just makes me happier. I'm really big on, and I made a video about this yesterday, just like when I feel like there's something that needs to be processed, when I feel emotional, when I feel off, is another great way to put it. I just felt off. I had a weird dream. I wake up and I'm like, oh man, I feel weird. Okay, well, this is a great opportunity for me to come here and just take a breath, close my eyes, and just listen to those frogs. Just feels good. Makes sense. I can understand their world a little bit. So it gets me out of my space, out of my head, and into my body, into my heart, into my soul, into my space. And so I just wanted to make this video to share a little bit about presence, what it means to me and how I practice it. And it means freedom. It means power. Or I should say, it means freedom. It creates space for peace, which is really just the absence of all the internal chaos that I can remove out of my mind. And ultimately, in the absence of those things, it leaves me with that which I am, which is a powerful man. a powerful creative man, someone who can, someone who will, someone who is inevitable, someone who sees, someone who feels, someone who connects, someone who thinks, someone who is capable of all these things is a powerful person. And so many of you are also capable of these things, but you just don't give yourself the credit. You don't think that you're powerful. You don't recognize how amazing and incredible it is to think, to create something. It doesn't matter if it's a little painting, a little hum, a little melody, or connection with a new person. Like, that's something that a lot of people not only can't do, but don't want to do. That's a powerful thing. And I think that recognizing that and spending time every day reflecting on that allows me to really own it and allows me to have more confidence with it. And that leads to ultimately more success in my life, personally, but also professionally. And those things combined, compounded over time with this time for presence every day, it feels like I'm just growing and building and expanding all the time. But then I'm always regrounding and rerouting and getting deeper. It's like I'm growing higher and I'm getting deeper simultaneously. And it feels really powerful. And I just want to empower all of you to practice it. And I think the best way to practice it, I don't think there's a better way, is to just carve out the first 30 minutes to 45 minutes of your day. And if you have to get up earlier, then do it. And just go be at peace. Go find somewhere where you can just sit. You can walk. You can ride your bike. You can have your own space. You can just sit and you can have a conversation like I'm having where I literally can't see one person around me. And if you live somewhere where there's a lot of people, you might have to figure out a way to do it, or you might have to get creative. But I know you can, and I promise if you will, if you do, when you do, it's going to set the tone for your day in a way that nothing else will. A podcast is not going to, programming your mind is only so effective, peeps. Like, what we really want to do is we want to get present with what's in our mind so we can analyze it, assess it, and see if it's software that we want to keep, we want to uninstall and replace with something better. When we're listening to podcasts and program, we're just piling it on. But this practice of presence isn't piling anything on. It's actually removing everything, all the noise and everything from my sphere, cleaning it out, and then organizing and prioritizing it so that I can channel all of my energy forward. And when you do that over and over again, you don't need to practice focusing. You don't need to practice being productive. You don't need to build habits. You will just start to guide yourself where you need to go. And this is my whole spiel with the whole Leaders Legends ideology, is that you have all of the awareness of where you want to and need to be. You just have to learn how to trust yourself and accept it regardless of how it makes you think or feel about yourself. And that's the best part, is the hard part. Is, oh man, like, I know I'm supposed to go in this direction, but what will they think? What do I think? Is this okay? This isn't the way I always planned it. This isn't how I visualized it. And in the noise of questioning if it's a good idea, you're wasting that time that you can just move in that direction. Let the universe, let other people open up the doors for you. Just walk up to them. You can't open up a door if you aren't seeing it. And the presence is the process of being conscious and seeing doors that you weren't previously aware of because your mind was so convicted and convinced that it had to go in this direction. And that's something that also can be accomplished and experienced through presence. So what I'm going to do here for the next 20 minutes when I put this thing away in a moment, is I'm just going to sit here and I'm just going to be guided. I'm just going to listen to myself. I'm going to ask myself questions. I'm going to sit with myself. I'm going to let the conversation come up, just like I practice in 30 Days of Feeling. And I'm going to do it in a place that I feel like I can be held in, a natural place where all the other creatures are in harmony here and where I feel like I can fit in too. And that just feels fantastic. And I think that it's been the most profound change in my life. It's provided me space to have the lowest stress I've ever had and the most success I've ever had. And I feel like when these things are going in this direction and the success is high and the stress is low, there's just flow. And it feels phenomenal. And yeah, presence is just the it's everything. It's the state of harmony and oneness with all the other creatures. It's the absence of all the futuristic and anxious ridden thoughts, and it's the absence of reflection of the past in a negative perspective because I didn't. It's just the owning of I am, the owning of this is, the owning of acceptance and it's okay, and the awareness that at any moment some spontaneous beautiful thing that can be created or shown to me. At any moment I could just be inspired by something incredible, and that could lead to a whole new idea, a whole new revolutionary thought, a whole new creation of mine that I want to bring to the world. And I think that in this state, this is the supreme state of humans, and this is our natural state. This is present. And for the majority of history, we've been very present. It's just it's recently that we've been distracted with trying to plan a perfect future and reflecting on living in the past. And it's easy for me to say that. I don't know our ancestors that well, so in fairness, it could also be like that then. But I think that there's a state where humans are most efficient and happy and joyful, and that's in the present moment. So that's what I'm practicing. And even just making this video, being here and nowhere else, is a practice of it. And even that is meditation, peeps. Meditation is just the practice of being present. And so, I think there's a lot of spiritualized. There's spiritual lingo out there that I think just distracts us from the simplicity of what it is. And meditation is just being present. And being present is just the absence of your future thinking and your past reflection. You're just literally here. Right now, you can meditate on those things at times and just kind of sift through them for sure. But ideally, you just want to be here, just enjoying the ambiance of the morning. We have this incredible little foresty area. We have this beautiful mist out there you can see. Sun and the clouds are coming. All these different bushes, all these different creatures that live in the swamp area. And there's just so much going on here. And there's just nowhere else to be. It's just here. Just before all the things happen today, before all the noise begins and the day begins. Just me. Just here. Just now. Just me. Just here. Just now. And if you can practice just you, just there, just now, I promise you, your life is going to be so much more full. But the biggest thing is, if you can just carve out 30 to 45 minutes in the morning to process what you're feeling, process what you've been feeling, process what you're thinking about in the future, I promise you, you will feel so much better. So when you go to do this and practice it for yourself, I recommend bringing a journal, one where you can write out what you're thinking. I recommend communicating, closing your eyes, and talking yourself through things that are happening. And I recommend making it a practice to really sit and be at peace with yourself. And if you could do that, you're going to experience presence, and you're going to experience emotion and energy like you've never experienced before. You're not going to need coffee. You're not going to need your drinks. You're not going to need your energy drinks. You're not going to need your boost. You're not going to need to get anything. You're just going to feel empowered. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to feel empowered, because I feel empowered. And it feels great. And you can too, because I'm a human. So are you. So anyway, with all that said, presence, peace, and power be with you. I'm going to sit and enjoy the morning, and I just want you to give it a shot. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. I didn't really know what I wanted to make this morning. It's super simple. It's super basic. I think what this is just some of the reasons why I think practicing presence is important, dumbed down to the most simple way. And yeah, that's it. Peeps, be good. Be safe. Take a breath. Write it out. Talk it out. Let it out. Let it go. Just let it flow. Presence, it's right here all around you. Legends find a way.